Ignition start.
What's going on, everybody? It is, Wednesday, July 28th, 2021. This is RealTuners Radio, episode 159. I didn't forget it this time. I didn't write it down. I promise. So what's going on? We don't really have huge plans for tonight, so maybe we'll navigate our way into doing some remote tunes or something like that. In the meantime, it's me and Perduto right now. We've got the other guys that are kind of busy or on the road. Bonneville is, where's he at?
Going to Formula Drift somewhere.
Out in the Pacific Northwest somewhere?
I feel like I know he had to fly and then drive.
I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. He told us the whole story, what he was doing. It was a nightmare. We were all discussing how wonderful it is to try and travel as a tuner via airlines or anything really. We're actually going to rent our ride to Bonneville. There's 3 of us that are going to drive out, so it's like the cheapest cars were, which is hilarious because I'm just going to get us a full-size SUV or whatever. That's like $900 for a week.
It's insane right now.
When it used to be like $400 for a week, $450 or something. But anyway, so it was just kind of whack. Travel sucks, and now they're talking about more. I see the mayor of Kansas City was talking about more mask mandates again.
They said they brought it back in Kansas City today.
They brought it back in Nevada. They just told us that those of us that are going to Bonneville have to bring masks because not Utah, but Nevada, which you race in Utah, Wendover, Utah, but you spend the night in Wendover, Nevada. It's a city that sits on the state line that goes down the middle of it. And the Nevada side, which is where we're staying, requires masks for everything. And it's casinos that'll probably be shut down, which sucks, and the restaurants will be shut down. I didn't even think about that. You watch. I bet you if another 2 or 3 days of hysteria in the media, and they'll cancel that event. They'll call that event because there's a lot of people that worry there.
I'm going to make a call right now, and people aren't going to like it. There's going to be no SEMA or PRI this year.
I saw you say that today, and I was like, no, I bet not. I tell you what, we'll know in a week. We'll be able to make that call in another 3 or 4 or 5 days, I bet.
And that hurts because I was really looking forward to it this year.
I'm looking forward to Bonneville because, though the Turbinator isn't ready, I know it's going to be ready for the faster part of the year anyway in another month or so. My finger's disappearing. This guy in the background, I'm tuning this week, and they are bringing in some help to get this thing. They've spent 3 or 4 years on the salt sorting it out. It takes that long to get a car like past you got to start off driving slow and faster and faster. When you got a car that'll go 300 miles an hour, the scrutiny is huge, right?
Well, so, and I feel like you guys can't test like a drag racer. You don't get 3 passes on Wednesday, 3 passes on Friday.
I don't know. Mustang dyno in second gear is about all you get. Excuse me. Yeah, it sucks. But anyway, so we're headed out there. Let me think. I'm picking Brad up, Thursday in Omaha, Nebraska, and then we'll drive Thursday, most of Thursday all of Thursday, spend the night somewhere, and then another 7 or 8 hours Friday. We'll get there late Friday afternoon. We'll have time to fix any bugs with the car if they find it, and then Saturday, I guess, they start making passes. Now, guys like this might wait. They have some help. Shane Stubbs, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He's a drag bike and Landspeed bike many-time record holder and just a genuine badass and all-around interesting cat. And he is driving the car for them. I've worked with him on some motorcycle projects before that went really well. But anywho, so they're having him drive to kind of help shake it down because he's driven stuff that fast. They've been just in testing and goofing around. They've been, I think, in the low 230s with this car, with the guys kind of from the shop driving it themselves and working their way up. But we thought it'd be a good idea when it's time to gun for the record, which is, I believe, high 270s mile per hour, which means they got to average that for a mile twice, okay, in 2 consecutive days, with hardly being able to work on the car between the first and second, just some basic service stuff. So yeah, so Shane Stubbs is going to drive that car and help us sort the rest of it out. Me, Nagel, Brad Nagel, the guys from Cal Automotive will be tuning and maintaining the car, making sure it does the best that it can. So I mean, there still may be some bugs that they find out as they increase speed. They passed through some speeds and found they had like a steering wobble, which is common. It's
Harmonics and
almost
weird
a rigid
things.
chassis. Yeah. There's a lot to have to work through. You can't just go out there and let a brand new car rip. It's years of work, and these guys have done it. So, anywho, okay. Let's see on my list. Should cover the junk on our list. So the first thing I wanted to draw people's attention to tonight. I don't normally do GoFundMe's or share too many because we get asked to do 1,000,000 and it's hard to be fair or whatever. But I found a good one. Hold on, I'm going to see if I can share my screen and have it happen within less than like 10 minutes or whatever. This one here. Is that the right one? Yes. Okay, it still might take a minute for me to figure it out, but can you see my screen? Yes, Jason, make my screen happen. There he goes. Yep. So this is Matt Fleck. You guys may know him on Facebook. I've followed him for years. He's been a listener since day effing one, and he has. I know this. An interesting cat. He had a back surgery and some kind of mishap during the back surgery, and it ended up paralyzed and sucks. Still a car guy, still a hot rodder, still does fab work. He's trying to raise funds for a special kind of wheelchair that's actually badass. It's a tracked deal that I'm looking at right here, this picture. But if you know Matt on Facebook, here's his Facebook profile right here. Yeah, got that. Okay. And so yeah, you can find him on Facebook, but he's got a GoFundMe here. And I guess one of us will share this link. That's a huge link. We'll figure out the link here and copy this right here. I'll share it on the Facebook feed. But we should make it rain on this guy. He's doing pretty good. They started this about 5 hours ago, and they're $4,700 of a goal of $25,000. And it's interesting. I checked out pricing and shopped around on these chairs. This is the one you want. It's not like the overpriced $40,000 or $50,000 deal or whatever. It's just a nice middle of the road, heavy duty of its kind. Because I've been to the Howe and Howe facility when we tuned that Super Sandrail SSR thing that Tom Vigu built the engine for. They make these. They make like wheelchairs, but they're sit-down style that are tracked. And it's more like a skid loader or a four-wheeler driving around. It's a little less mobile, but a little more for like roads and you know, heavy stuff. This is more just for like getting around like at the track, you know, or in the shop, that kind of stuff. So anyway, it seemed like a worthy cause. So if you guys, anybody has like wants to chip in, he's at $4,700 of a 25K goal. So God, he should be able to hit that in 24 hours. I would hope. I hope to see that happen. Cool, dude.
I think it's going to happen fast. He's got enough traction going on this. Looking around the internet right now, I see it happening fast.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, that's a cool cause, is it not? And it was funny because I literally was reading the Facebook post today that like people are like, dude, you should just do a GoFundMe. Because he's like, man, check out this thing is badass. Like, well, why don't you get it? Because it's 25 grand. Okay, well, we should just do a GoFundMe. And he didn't feel that was right. And he had took a couple hundred friends to say, no, that's a good reason to have a GoFundMe. You know, people don't have to feel guilty or whatever to give, or and if they can a little bit, then it's super kick ass. Goes to a good cause. So thought it was cool. Thought you should check it out. I guess I should start looking at comments and make sure people aren't like,
for whatever
hey,
reason,
we can't hear you.
My Facebook's being dumb. I can see YouTube. Kenny Howard made a heck of a point. He says there's no shutdowns. Crowd living is going to start, but you know, he thinks there's going to be a lot more pushback this time around. And Kenny, I think your pushback is going to be very centered in areas, and there's other centers that are just going to be like, yeah, we want to shut down and bring the mask back.
I think there is. Oh, that's cool. Aegis Peabody confirms Matt is an awesome guy, and we know that Mr. Peabody is an awesome guy, so that's kick ass. I'm glad to hear somebody back him up that knows him in person, or better than I do. I just known him on Facebook for, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years. I remember that name. I always know the name Fleck because there's a couple of them that can be pretty hilarious. But yeah. Anyway, so podcast addict shows up to episode 156. So we need to upload more podcasts. Sorry, everyone. How many of you guys watch or have watched Alejandro Flores, one of his YouTube live streams. He had one tonight, like at 5 o'clock our time. He had one
If I'm
going.
being totally honest, when he came out, and it's got to be 10 years now, I feel like, he was hilarious. And then he started playing the YOLO douchebag role too hard. And I kind of was like, I don't want to listen to this anymore. And then the past couple years, past year and a half, he has come out with this whole live stream video, so there's old Facebook videos, and that dude preaches truths like nothing you've ever heard before.
I love the guy. I think he chilled out a little when he got a higher end job. So the original, he would just make these videos called YOLO Douchebag Tuner, YDBT for short. And that's what the YDBT meant. It's like, you only live once, douchebag tuner. And he'd have his hat on backwards, and he'd act like he's a badass tuner. He'd be like the factory ECU guys that just made their first car, raised the idle RPM 50. Yeah, he's totally the man or whatever. And just a hilarious, fucking hilarious guy. But he's kind of funny. He's grown up a little bit, but he's still, what I love about this guy more than ever about him is like, he does everything, he says everything right, and he does not hold back. He is, Jerry doesn't know who. So look up Alejandro Flores. Can I find him on Facebook?
I'm sure.
Hold on. We're going to sick 18 people on him. His live streams have like 500 people listening at a time live. So it's kind of cool. Here we go. I found him. Okay, so Scott's going to try and share his screen in less than 10 seconds. There we go. Yes. Okay, so this guy. He is so badass. I mean, he's just hilarious. He's funny, but some of the stuff he says, like, the guy is my spirit animal. He says things I can absolutely not get away with sharing the same opinion, certain things about this industry. But he's got it all figured out. He's been to all the same races, all the same SEMA shows and PRI shows and all the lame-ass meet and greets. And he's got similar thoughts on some of the celebrities, not necessarily all of them. I mean, I think he's a Cletus fan. If I'm not mistaken, I never heard him dogging on Cletus. We like Cletus too over here. We've met him, and he's come to the classes, and he's fucking dude, smart and fun, and does neat stuff with cars, and is just a hardworking, interesting guy. Well,
like before this whole thing started, Cletus is a legit driver, dude. That boy can.
Oh yeah, people don't realize. Well, so it was at the Kevin Smith class that you were at that I was introduced to him. They're like, oh no, before you meet this guy, just realize he was like a champion level kart driver and can drift anything and is really, really skilled behind the wheel of a variety of four-wheel things. Yeah, but I don't want to get off on a Cletus tangent. Everybody knows we dig Cletus. He's been on the show. But anyway, Alejandro's a good cat. You should catch some of his streams because they are hilarious. If you find him on YouTube, his live streams, I don't know if he's got a schedule. Go like and subscribe to that guy. He's super cool. That's all. That's literally all I had. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll see. I'm just kidding. Well, they want to talk about Bonneville. A couple of guys, one or two guys want to hear. Most of the drag racers think Bonneville's boring because it's.
I'm in the middle of winter down here. We ain't got a lot going on down here. We're kind of track's closed right now. We're in the middle of our heat. So
I think you got some audio noise going on or something.
Do I? Is it better?
Yeah, it's a little scratchy. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but. No, yes, Pro Stock. See, the guy's talking on the YouTube chat. Pro Stock John, he's a buddy of ours, says he's funny and very quick-witted. That's the way to put it. He's super, super quick retorts, and I love what he has to say. Everything that guy ever says about this industry and the classification or the category of different jobs and people in this industry, I'm 100% with him, 1,000% with him.
How's that? Does that sound better, by the way?
It does.
Okay, good.
Did you turn off your...
I had to close Facebook. Facebook messes with my laptop.
Mm-hmm. Sure, it was Facebook. No, so awkward. Anyway, yeah, he don't give a F. He says how it is, Jesse Coburn, right on the money. Yep. Okay, that's cool. Very nice. Yes, Alex Niolo's recent live streams, good stuff. He's chilled out a little. He has chilled out a little bit. I should unmute server. No, I don't want to unmute server. It's sitting over here in the room with me because I'm in the home office tonight. But our producer is running the server via AnyDesk, and our producer literally lives out middle of nowhere on the lake on a finger of island sticking out in Bull Shoals Lake, which is a kind of out in the middle. It's like an hour drive from here, and his DSL internet goes down like every 20 minutes religiously. It's the most frustrating thing ever. And if you have to download something that's more than like 10 megabytes or whatever, it's it was like the old AOL dial-up days. But
Oh man,
anyway,
Joe
he's
Sorbello
struggling with
tonight on
that a little bit.
RealTuners. How to make a TurboSmart electric wastegate work on various ECUs. I'm telling you,
So I've asked about that. I mean, I don't know what I should say about that. I actually got the approval from a customer to experiment with that a little bit.
I feel like I
They
can
would
pull that off.
fund it.
I feel like it can't be that hard. I think people are making this out to be way more than
It's
this.
not as simple as you had an explanation and you were on the right path. But if you wanted to make an interface, the Holly boost control system, then you have to read two separate PWM signals, one for raise, one for lower, and then the PWM percentage would be how fast of a rate. I mean, you could make something do that with an app mega chip or something, Arduino style, and then you need a motor controller, a stepper motor controller, to drive what they finally ended up putting in those wastegates. Now, in Holly's defense, they changed from when they debuted that at the first PRI show or whatever. They've completely changed the system, the interface that they're using. So it would have been smart to wait. It was smart to wait, and I'm sure Holly will come up with all they need is software. All they really need. They have a H-bridge driver which will drive DC motors. They have a couple of them on a Dominator, two or three, I think, and two of them for sure capable of driving big throttle bodies, which means they'll drive this thing. That's all they need. But in the meantime, look at guys like Pro EFI. That's the kind of stuff that's right up their alley. They'll have it
Yes.
in 5 minutes if they didn't already.
When TurboSmart launched that gate, it was supposed to come with a controller. I actually had to go back and look. They were supposed to have a controller for that gate. You can even use it on a stock ECM.
We thought about making one because we'd be just as easy to make a standalone controller. Because again, I have some customers that have me working on some products that are basically they're coming up with the ideas and the design and having me like test them and seeing how well they work in the field. So I've got some pretty neat CAN bus stuff that talks to different systems, but I brought that up to them. I'm like, hey, somebody's asking for this, and the only worry is that hey, in like 3 or 4 weeks or a month, Holly's going to come out with software update that'll work with that.
And you've put all the R&D into it for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, but a standalone controller for those. I don't think anybody else is making that yet. And I know some guys that have the right hardware. I was just playing with my Dan Parker pen, theblindmachinist.com.
Mongo is asking if you can control a 7-pin HEI with a Mega Squirt. I don't see why not.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, go look at the Mega Manual or just Google that. The Mega Squirt 7-pin HEI. You'll find it out there. I bet you I can find that in 15 seconds or less. Is that an emissions guy trying to trap us in EPA?
No, that's Mongo Fast. He's on YouTube all the time. If he is, he's deep undercover. That boy's always on our feeds.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't even catch that. I'm so sorry. Okay, hold on. So here's what I'm going to do, Mongo Fast. Here's how we do this. Mega Squirt 7-pin HEI module. And holy shit, lo and behold, they got all sorts of pages on how to do it. Hold on. So go to... Yeah, so here's a wiring diagram for doing it with a 7-pin. Now, you can actually retard timing for nitrous with these. What sucks is, though, you're using them with a distributor. So that tells me you really need to do your homework and just figure out how to get a set of cheap LS coil packs and a crank trigger and a cam trigger and get your shit together and get your game on point and caught up to like 1999.
Or be on your phasing game. It'll
or be on your phasing game. And if you don't know right away what he meant by phasing game, go get the LS coil packs and just join the rest of the crowd. Sorry, I don't mean to offend Mongo Fast. We're just giving her a time.
Wait, stop.
We're kind of treating him like a typical 8 to 5 question asker or whatever. I feel like I'm being a dick. It'd be nice now.
There's a fair amount of Cabo Wabo in this cup. I'm just saying. Wait, stop, and play the Google Doodle first. Wow, that's going to be a new line of mine. When someone asks you a dumb question, you should go play the Google Doodle.
I can't. I miss the only thing I miss about working in IT. I don't know if people know. I started in 1993 and I did IT until like 2000. Well, shit, the first time I officially got out of it around 2000. but I did a stint in an IT job again as a director for a department for like 4 or 5 years, and then I went back to full-time tuning. But I got to work for an Olympics, a couple of Pan Am games, so did ticketing and reservation stuff. But I miss guys like Kenny. The only thing I miss about doing that kind of work is managing departments of engineers. There's always funny guys like Kenny Howard. This one's for you, Kenny Howard.
Chase Cole, I did not see that video, but you're making me want to go watch it right now.
What did he say? Is that on Facebook or is
Facebook? I guess Shane Tecklenburg did a video on Pro 600 versus IGN 1As. And I personally think Shane's a smart dude. I would like to see that.
Well, did they do it in a pressure chamber or not?
I have no idea. I didn't see the video.
Well, we should go find it. Hold on. Let's go look at
find that.
I'm supposed to have a beer with Shane and his dad. Whenever we get to Bonneville at the same time, him and his dad drop by the pits and say hello. They always come over to Cecilio's pits and
I'm still stuck on Google Doodle.
Hold on. So we're looking up Shane Tecklenburg. Boom.
He says yes in a pressure chamber.
He did. Ah, yes, very nice.
Shane's a smart dude. Like Shane's been up there with Darren at DMPE doing all the top fuel stuff with Kalidas. And I have a feeling Darren's using Shane to bring coil packs into the top fuel world of stuff, because
I wouldn't be surprised, because we were asked to do a demo for this for NHRA on the West Coast for their Nostalgia series, and they turned it down. But Gene Adams did a pitch for having coil packs, and we did a demonstration engine and why, and they probably put it in the writing. Nope, couldn't do it. But it was the reason for that was, and it was for A fuelers. Yes. Not for top fuelers, right? But it was similar, a little less power, but similar crazy concept. Nitro.
Those motors are, so the hand-me-down fuel stuff is what's making its way into all of radio racing. That's all the blown alcohol stuff you're seeing in radio cars, pro mod stuff along those lines. And with the amount of power management needed at a radio versus the world level versus big tire bar pro mod level, I can see coil packs being a big, what's the word I'm looking for? A big advantage over the mag.
I don't see it on his page. Someone's got a link. Share it.
I think it's on his business page, not his personal.
ST Consulting. Got a bunch of his cards too. It's funny. From way back in the day.
And Jason, just if you're listening, apparently everyone likes the tires and wheels behind our head instead of the Matrix. Just so you know.
Oh, they do? Hey, Shaq, they don't like the Matrix. They like the tires and wheels in the background. We paid $50 for that one. Play the Matrix. Fuck. I'm kidding. It's terrible. Shane T is a worldwide Motec electronics calibrator. Dude, we just need to have him on here. That's an obvious one on the list I should do. Ooh,
yes, I'm not God, I know you just built one, but it ain't running and making passes yet.
What's this?
Andrew DeMarco just built, well, he's got coil packs on his motor, but his car's not running and making passes yet.
Oh, I see him talking about spark output here. Yeah, I missed this one. I need to look into this and see what his results are. I got to be careful. You know about that test. Yeah, I'll just shut up. That's an interesting test, and we did something similar. I got to ask if I can talk about that without. I mean, supposedly a manufacturer said, "Oh, bad batch of coils here. Try these. This will fix it," and it apparently fixed the problem. So that was the last of it. I was involved in the how to test. I was asked how to do a comparison test, but it was a real world test on some cars, and it was an interesting results. We'll wait. I'm curious.
Hey, Jason, now that you changed the tires and wheels, they like the Matrix again.
Now they're bitching and want the Matrix. Shaq's like, fuck you in the tune of 1.1 megabit DSL. like 50K uploads or whatever. Sorry, I'm being horrible. I saw my Alejandro video today and I'm just like, man, I want to cuss like this guy and I want to rant about the people who are marketing in this industry. I want to rant about the people who are fucking liars. I want to talk about, in fact, I just want to like call a guy, dude, can I just give you a list of a couple more things to add to that list of people to complain about people who don't do anything for this business, but come in here and drain it of money. Anyway.
First off, John, it is on our schedule, but there's some conflicts. It is when I tell you that we are trying our butts off, and even if we can't bring a car, we're going to fly up and at least hang out for a day or so. But it is 100% on, like, we are trying everything we have to be at LSS East this year.
Yes. Yes. Now, Pro Stock John helps organize LS Fest East.
Yes, sir.
Pro Stock John, that's the Pro Stock John from LS1 Tech back in the day. Founder and originator of all sorts of cool shit in this industry. Yeah. He's a good dude. That guy I like. And I used to not, back when I was a bigger dickhead 15 years ago, we used to not get along, but yeah, I like him. I think, and he hasn't really changed. I probably have. But yeah.
I am so OG LS1 Tech. My username was actually Black Trans Am. That's how early I got on the website. I could actually.
Wow. I think I remember that. Someone actually got Black Trans Am. That's hilarious. Yes, that's like Scott Clark at yahoo.com.
Exactly.
Some super nerd got that one. That's hilarious. Shit. Well, what else? So we got Fleck's, Matt's GoFundMe. I'm curious how that's turned out. We should go check on that.
No, that was my dad. Oh, John.
Wow, it's gone up a lot. Holy shit, it went up over $1,000 since I started first logging in. Outstanding, you guys. If that was any of you guys getting on here, that's badass. That's badass. It's cranking up. Nice. These guys are very cool. So I want to see. Yeah, so it's funny. I'm reading the Shane T thing now. You got me on this, and Delgado is in there. I don't always agree with Chris on some stuff, but his ignition testing has been solid, and he's in there arguing some good points that I would have to side with, I think. But which ignition
guy named Drufus wants to know Danny Thompson is piloting Ferguson's Arden-powered steam liner this year. Worth you know.
Hold on. Was that on YouTube?
Yeah.
Do you guys know if Danny Thompson is piloting Ferguson's Arden-powered Streamliner this year? Cheers, Drufus. I do not know. But what I could go do is check up on Danny Thompson.
And then Bonneville 500cc four wheels. Thoughts?
Yep, Ferguson liner. Yep, so according to Danny Thompson, in his words, I get to drive this beast at SpeedWeek this year. Oh yeah, pretty cool. The first time I ever made a race lap down the salt was in one of the Ferguson family cars, so it has come full circle. Thanks D2 and D3 for the ride. I take it that's the Ferguson's junior and senior maybe. The car number is 75 BFS, which means B and then fuel streamliner. So it's a naturally aspirated streamliner that's running on not event gasoline. So it actually could run gasoline, but the fuel classes are usually faster and can run on anything up to nitromethane and or nitrous. And it's an injected Arden Hemi on nitro, he says. Badass. Okay, hold on. Got to share this page here. Clark's going to get good at this. Kenny Howard, eat your heart out. Look at that. I shared quick. So look for this liner right here. That is cool. Danny Thompson, if you've ever met the guy, another badass. He's another one of the ones that I got to meet early on by just waiting in line. When you wait in staging, sometimes the first day or two, you'll wait half a day to make your pass, depending on how fast they can get cars through. I think with the COVID stuff going on, it's going to be less of an attendance. You might get through faster. But anyway, the Danny Thompson Streamliner, look up Danny Thompson if you don't know his story. That guy's a cool character and kind of a legendary racer. He's got some real fast Streamliner records on the salt. Real fast. But we know who has the fastest.
Chris Smith it says Bonneville 500cc four wheels thoughts. I've got that opportunity. I obviously don't know enough about Bonneville, no idea what he's talking about.
I'm gonna look at where that's at. Is that on Facebook?
That's Facebook.
Steve Wickersham. Hi, buddy. Long time no talk. You're not talking to me anymore because he already knows how to do EFI now. He doesn't need my help anymore. How fast can you push a car at Bonneville? Chris Smith. God damn, see, Chris is smart. He's been on the show before, right? So this is the guy that, is he the owner at Elan Power Sports now or Motorsports? I don't, he's the engine guy, the head dude there, if not, one of the big ballers at Elan, and they do crazy road race engines, that endurance stuff that's badass. Anyway, Chris wants to know, how fast can you push a car? I don't know if you've seen this, but at Bonneville, a lot of the cars, most of them, have a push truck to push them off. In most cases, this is because the gear ratio is such that first gear, you have to gear them huge. So you very low numerical gears, like a 1.8 gear set is common out there or lower. So you will push them off, and you can push them as fast as you absolutely want to. The limit isn't how fast you push them to. The limit is how far. You got to be off by the... Now, this is where I'm not sure. I think it's like a quarter mile. You can push them all the way to the first timing traps, but the push vehicle can't cross that line, so you got to get off the way there. But it's like either a quarter or a half mile. It's a long way. You can push them a long way. Now, what's funny is you'd be like, oh, well, dude, we'll just build a badass truck and push them super fast. Guys bring their big badass diesels out there. Getting traction, even all-wheel drive, is hard. And the surface gets rough and potholey and real bad. Your tires don't stay on the ground long. So you can't, as heavy as those cars typically are, I think we got Cecilio's car up to like 50 miles an hour. Was as much as we could get it going before he could take off quicker. And I bet you there's not many people pushing over 60 or 70 in extreme cases, getting them up with lighter cars. And some of them don't get pushed at all. The Turbinator leaves on its own, doesn't get pushed. The fastest car out there is not use a push truck. Hope that answered your question. Oh, so if Chris, if you have an opportunity, 500cc 4 wheels, thoughts, you should do it. But that may be a super competitive class, Chris. You need to take a look at the numbers. You don't have to go, here, let me show you. In fact, let me pull up how to do this if I remember right. It's going to require a little bit of Google here. Let's see. So I want to go to
Scotty Wilson.
No, I want scta-bni.org. That's their website. Southern California Timing Association Bonneville Nationals Incorporated.org. You can Google the Southern California Timing Association, but you'll come up with this website. Okay, I know the schedule's coming up. You can view that here. You can download the PDF. I want to see somewhere on here, if you dig around, you can find the current records. Where the hell are the records at? Bonneville records. Here we go. You can see event results or Bonneville rulebook records. And you can download it. So here you go. So you can look at 4 wheels. Well, I don't know. So that's 4 wheels is probably a streamliner then. No, these are Bonneville Nationals. Maybe. Oh, you got to scroll through all these pages. So I guess I can download it here. Sorry. Look at me sucking at computers. So these are special constructions. Blown gas streamliner. Oh, look at that. AA Speed by Spectre. Guess who helped on that a little bit?
Paul Pilkington thanking you for figuring out that alternator on his car. What he doesn't know is, and I'm kidding, Paul, but I'm going to say it anyways because I want to make Tyler laugh. It was all Tyler's fault. He just fixed it in the meantime right there. When he put the alternator on, he fixed it.
Poor Tyler on that car. I don't know if people know this. Our buddy in town here, Paul Pilkington, they've suffered through many a head gasket failure and problems trying to figure out an ignition miss on this car that Tyler helps tune. And it was kind of depressing because they've tried everything. And they're all very competent people.
Dude, I don't know
tried everything to figure out this misfire.
Cylinder.
Yeah, well, it always hits one cylinder, but I figured out why that is. Because it's resetting the counter. It's the first cylinder in the firing order. But anyway, so if there's always a pattern on the one like that, you know it's something to do with, hey, I'm losing some kind of sync somehow. But anyway, it was, we'd had the MechMan guys on, and I'd had this problem recently on another car, on Lewis Jackson's car. And I was like, but the funny thing was Tyler went through the list of everything they'd gone through, replaced, checked, done, whatever, 19 times, and it was really thorough. He's like, well, how'd you know it was the alternator? I'm like, because it's the only fucking thing you didn't replace on the whole car. It was like a
Process of elimination.
2006 F-body alternator or 2001 F-body alternator that had 1 billion miles on it when they found it. And now it's had 1 billion race miles on it and been on a bunch of different cars. And they took it to the alternator shop and got some stuff figured out and cleaned up the tune, and it came right around. And car has made clean passes now. Apparently, it's made enough to be considered reliable. Anyway, so you go through here. So he's talking about 500cc. You got to know the engine size class for that. So I'm guessing he's going to be Streamliner. So 500 cc's, you got to pick gas or fuel. So here's unblown gas Streamliner. That means naturally aspirated. That's what unblown means. Blown gas Streamliner means something with forced induction, blower, turbo, whatever. Okay, so if you look at these, I'm guessing the 500cc is somewhere down here at like XF, or no, K, probably K. Yeah, J or K is probably the small half a liter class, one of these. And I mean, those guys are in the low 200s on half a liter on unblown gasoline Streamliner on tiny little engines. So you got your work cut out for you if you want to do something like that. You need to go look at those for sure.
He just hired you as a consultant. You got your work cut out for you.
Shit. No, I mean, what I'm missing is what you need to do is you need to go look at the Bonneville engine classes. So there's some other. I'm looking for that now. Bonneville engine classes. Okay, here we go. The basics of Bonneville SpeedWeek engine class. Ah, thank God my buddy Brandon Galuli wrote up an article on it. He's so badass. All right, we're going to share this screen. So if you want to know how Bonneville works, just Google this. Basics of Bonneville SpeedWeek engine classes. So cubic inches. So if he's 500 cc's, it's the K class. Yeah, there's guys going 200 miles an hour, naturally aspirated on gasoline at 7,500 foot density altitude on half a liter and a Streamliner. So if it's, he said 4 wheels, that generally means it's, if that's the only rules, it's a Streamliner. It could be a Lakester. Lakesters mean that the wheels are exposed out in the air. They're not streamlined, not internal to the body or whatever, not covered by the body. But did I get that done? Did I screw that up? Is that okay? I unshared that. Nice. Kenny Howard, hopefully it gets prouder of me every minute. What else? What other questions are there?
I'm looking.
Scotty's hired as a consultant. Thank you, Chris.
Scotty Wheels was saying that he wants the same wheelchair. I mean, he's got to just try and sell more Jose turbos than me because, you know, I sold quite a few. You can meet number 2, though. It's okay.
Scotty McDonald's will move some product, dude. He's a hustler for real. I like Scotty. He's a friend of Jamie Miller's. He's the one that got Jamie on the show.
No, Scotty's a good dude. I'll still be this turbo pricing by $1, though. Only $1.
Is that what you said? You have a Facebook group that says, I will undersell Scotty Wheels by $1 on any order. Just forward me the quote. Oh, that's hilarious. Horrible.
There was one more in there. I know it was there.
I'm looking here. It's hard to keep up when there's only 2 of us going back and forth.
It is.
I don't know where Fowler went tonight. He didn't come up with an excuse. He's just blowing us off.
He's in California. They probably got their masks and stuff back on. Because, you know, I'm not allowed to drive my VIN power or my VIN numbered vehicle on the highway because it puts out too much emissions. But a billionaire can ride a penis into space to beat his other billionaire friends and put all that out for no reason whatsoever. That's okay.
Did we find out how much carbon emissions that was when they did that?
I don't even want to know. No, not at all.
They weren't speaking about it, that's for sure. Anyway, people are sharing our video. Thanks, Paul. And we're really boring tonight. I have this pounding headache from sinuses. Anybody else got, I guess it's allergies make my sinuses nuts. And if I forget to take a Claritin, if I forget to take a Claritin like in the morning, by the afternoon, I got to plow a couple of doses of those yellow, sinus pills or whatever. And I'm waiting for them to kick in, waiting for that buzz.
I do wish Fowler was here, though, because I saw a statistic. I don't know if it's true, and he would be the one to figure that out. That the typical freighter coming across the ocean from China puts out more emissions in one trip than every car in the world does.
But that's crap. Here's the reason why. Why? Well, you probably know why that's not. That's actually very efficient.
Just because of the amount of the amount that it, or the quantity of weight that
The
it's
tonnage that it's moving. The same reason a train is hyper fuel efficient. Because when you're moving cargo, you look at the weight and maybe the size, but generally the weight of what you're moving, and then you take the emissions and divide it by that, and then you find out that, oh man, that's actually a really efficient, cost-effective way to move a lot of heavy shit, like a ton of cars. I worked in this. I thought that too, and I learned that around the guys that work in the stationary engine business and build ship engines and stuff like that. I don't know if I ever I tell you that story.
Pro Stock John wants us to talk about Drag Week. When is Drag Week? It's gotta be coming soon.
Anyone even paying attention? Oh man, I feel terrible. We need to get a Drag Week guru. See, Fowler needs to be on here. Tune in next week. We'll get Bill back to talk about.
Yeah,
I'm okay on drag. I mean, I did Drag Week religiously for like the first decade and change, and it got different for me. It got more like Power Tour, and it got a little more frustrating to do, and just a little less fun. But I'm glad it's fun for a bigger group of people than it is now. But originally, it was for kind of a different crowd. So it was if you knew Parrish and the guys that kind of did the first one. That was
Brian. I will buy carbon credits tomorrow if it means I can have my race car. Yes.
Can we chip in on a group of carbon credits if somebody hits it off and
start down, figure out how to do it? I'm behind you.
And we can buy us a carbon credit for all of us. That would be super cool. Can you do that? If you could collective bargaining or some shit, Bill could probably help with that.
All right, data logging question, Scott. How many steady state cell hits do you like to see before you consider the data reliable? Specifically, Steve, you lost him when you said HP tuners, VCM logger.
No, dude, I don't know if you know Steve. Is a buddy of mine from Omaha. I lived up near him for like the last 20 years, and just a badass hot rodder guy and a learner and a smart dude. And he's a very hardcore do-it-yourselfer, but he takes his time and does good work. I've known him because he was an IT guy up there, and me and my good buddy Mike Higginson got to help him out. We helped him with something for a couple days once, just some simple wiring job or something, but he's a good tuner, good engine builder, does all his own shit, wrenches a lot, nice guy. Anyway, your data logging question, Steve. How many steady state cell hits do I like to see? So my answer to that would be, it's going to depend on the situation, right? Like right now, James Short is in the middle of, frankly, some mind-boggling engine dyno shit that they're going to talk about here when Thule and him are ready to talk about it. They were this close to being ready to talk about it today, not quite ready, because they're testing, they're doing things with DI versus port injection, and they're kind of they're figuring something out, or they're fucking something up on the port. I don't know yet. They're doing really good. We want to wait and tell them. But anyway, something like that kind of testing, lots and lots of ABs, which is what James is doing, because he even said this morning, he's like, I know y'all motherfuckers are going to be telling me that no way, so I'm doing a bunch of ABs, and I'm telling you it's coming out that way. Okay, all right, I totally trust James, but and he's on an engine dyno. On a chassis dyno, it depends if it's a repeatable situation. So Steve, I would probably make a couple of polls without changing anything and seeing if that dyno is repeating. And you already know, you're going to look at data like, well, did my inlet air temps go up or down? Did coolant temp go up and down? Well, maybe my fluid temps are hotter and I get less resistance, that kind of shit. But on a chassis dyno, you kind of gotta factor in a bunch of other things that may cause it to not be repeatable. Then you kind of got to decide what am I looking for? If I got something here that's looking, am I trying to see if this thing hits a target O2 reliably without the same correction every time with the same load cell and RPM? God, it just depends. Something like that, I'll work through one cell at a time, or one row or one column at a time if we have to. Yeah, but it's tough call. But if you do have like a specific question, you can just like call me, right, Steve? I'm not like a superstar or anything. We're fucking just YouTube. Just pick up the phone or message me, and we'll figure out what it is specifically.
All right, what is the best way to adjust fueling using Holly log files? Work over small areas and a fuel map at a time. with the overlay function that is, trying to eke out that last bit of fueling discrepancy in my tune. So first off, to find that last bit, because I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to get it absolutely perfect, and you're going to go to a different track, and it's going to be off 2%, 3%. This is what's going to happen. But yes, if you could see, if I could turn my camera around right now, which I can't, there's about a 40-inch monitor up here and my laptop down here, and I like to have my log open, and I'll make my moves down, down, down. I don't make those last little changes at the track just because it doesn't make sense. I'll come home at night that night and have my log up above my head, and then have my tune pile open down low, and I'll work all that in, and the next time I see the car, I'll upload that back into the car. But that's how I do it. You cannot have enough screen space when you try to get that intricate in those last little pieces. You can't have enough room for that.
I'm going to take the Eric Russell question when you're done, but you let me know.
Go for it.
This is fucking great. Hey, man, we haven't answered good questions like this in a long time. And this is Eric Russell says, what's y'all thoughts on full EFI on a max effort roots blower car like mine over mechanical injection? So first off, Eric, you know I am an EFI Nazi. What is the term? I like EFI. I use it all the time. Brother, I would tune my mechanical injection on an alcohol roots blown car. If it's an alcohol car, if you're going to do a true max effort, I'm assuming you're talking like a Pro Mod drag. Give us some more details on the combo, but I have done enough of the EFI blower engines now to know that performance-wise, you don't get much. Literally, the only benefit for all that time and money is maybe two benefits. You get it starts up without somebody with a ketchup bottle. That's nice. And then you can sometimes, depending on how you can trim out cylinders a little more easily with the electronic, but it's pretty damn easy to change pills around too. I'm a big fan of tuning the mechanical stuff, especially after working on these jet engines that use very similar fuel systems to MFI. If you have a little bit of knowledge or feel for the engine, like you could bring an EFI tuner in there who just carries a wideband, and you and him could work together and make that thing run fucking awesome. And there are some that run really good. You'll notice at the track some of these mechanical fuel injected tuners. Perdito, don't you work on some MFI alky blown cars?
Yeah, and that's actually where I think that whole Shane T being up there with Darren thing is, on top of the coil pack scenario.
Yeah, the one thing they need help on is ignition.
Yep, and I think that's what they're going to be side by siding right now. I don't know. Darren posted a picture today of them towing home a main line, so obviously they're planning on. I think he's got 2, if not 3 engine. I think it's 2 engine dynos, and he just bought a main line too. So I think those two, between Darren and Shane, are planning on literally answering this question in the next couple of days. I think that's what they're after right now.
That's interesting. Cool. So Dart Block 427, DMPE 871. Yeah. All right, cool. I like this combo. 427 LS. So on methanol. Well, dude, yeah, you know what? You could do EFI on that combo, but if you need 8 injectors down low and at least 4 and maybe 8 up top to keep the blower wet.
Yep.
That's what you're going to need for that combo.
And you can almost run the up top injectors at a static. You can almost
Yeah.
static, just a moist, just keep the blower lubed, and then do all your.
I had some knowledgeable blower guys tell me 15% of your fuel through it, just keep it lubed. Yep. He's got 18 injectors. Well, boy, you got too many injectors.
Yeah, you got a lot.
It's okay. Yeah, just don't overfuel it and don't be dumb. Start it up with very little fuel going to the top and all your fuel going to the primaries down low. Make the down low ones your primaries. Don't do what some of the guys are out there installing these and telling everybody how badass they are. And they're going fast, but if you notice, they're not going faster than the MFI guys. They're telling you to do the primaries up top and the secondaries down low. Major wrong. You want to idle it and run everything on the primaries are the low, down low, pointing right at the valve, the smaller injectors.
And also, Eric, you have the best blower guy in the business. I don't care what anyone says.
Yes.
LDR rules.
DMP, is that Dennis McPherson?
No, Dennis is DMC. That's Darren Mayer. That's where Shane's at.
Darren Mayer, got it. Okay, gotcha. I got it. Okay, cool. I'm not the drag blower guru.
Those two are side by side, man. They're like brothers up there. He says, hey, Mike, can you break down LDR rules? Everything I found says you can run billet block or billet heads, but not both. Also, are Big Chief heads allowed on Big Block Chevy? Yes, Big Chief heads are allowed. Shane Stack actually runs a set of Big Chief style Frankenstein heads on a billet heads on a cast block currently. To my knowledge, that is still the rule. You can run billet block or billet head. You can't run both. So I'm going to tell you to run a solid block and a set of billet heads would probably be the way I would go if I was spending that money. But that is Shane's setup. Shane is twin 88 mil DTRs from Jose and a Frankenstein top end on a cash block. And I think he's won LDR like 2 years in a row or 3 years in a row. It's kind of hard to argue.
Wow, yeah.
It's kind of hard to argue with those results.
Cool.
And you got called the EFI evangelist.
I did? Oh, yeah. That must have been on YouTube. I haven't been watching YouTube for a couple minutes.
Kenny.
Hilarious. I used to be a lot more of an EFI Nazi until like Dahlquist and his fucking BLP carburetor that probably cost as much as the EFI did, but he was pretty wicked. You know, I got to meet the Laws family, and those guys are badass carb guys. So it was interesting. That'll humble you up real quick when you're forced to do a dyno shootout with those guys. We talked too much drag week already.
Jerry said he was just going through the Bonneville rulebook and Bud Fab's 50cc SF Streamliner. All I know is 50cc. I have no idea what SF means, but that son of a gun went 131.545 mile an hour. So you're going 130 plus mile an hour with 50 cc's. That's mind-boggling.
Oh, dude, they're sick. Guys will do just on all kinds of wild vehicles out there. I'm telling you, some of the funnest classes to watch out there are these small displacement classes, and you guys figure out how much they're making power per liter, and then you stand the fuck down, because those guys, if you converted that, if the Hemi guys could make the power per liter some of these little guys are making, they wouldn't need big ass blowers and or nitromethane. Think about what it takes to go 130, even just a human body by itself, and that's a little tiny engine doing that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Forget the fact the wind resistance you have to overcome at 131 miles an hour and only have 50 cc's on it. That's craziness.
Yep, 50 cc's, and I think you can run two-stroke. I believe the display. I believe it doesn't matter. I think you can run two-stroke, and I think a lot of them do once you get down there.
That would make sense.
Badass little engines. It's so cool to go out there and these guys work these things over. It's cool.
I could even see small displays like a little one rotor or little baby two rotor rotary or something on those.
Nope, they screw the rotaries over out there. The Southern California guys hate the rotaries. They're dickheads about that. It pisses me off. I have a bunch of rotary customers that would do well out there. So they take your rotary and they triple the displacement. So a 1.3 liter rotary has to go against a 1.3 liter rotary has to go against 4 liter engines.
I can see that though. That's not.
It's not actually fair. It's not, because if they're going to factor in that how many TDC events there are per rotation, then they need to factor in the specific compression ratio. And rotaries at best are like 6.5 to 1.
Yes,
right, low. 7 to 1. So they're very low actual effective compression. You can't get that much out of them. So if you're going to start calling them, oh, we're going to triple your figure because it's an unfair advantage in performance, you know, you've got 3 times as many, whatever. You don't really. They don't make triple, and it wasn't a fair estimate, and it was a political crap, I think, but whatever. I don't want to get me blocked from SpeedWeek before I go. Hasn't happened yet. Oh, shit. I gotta stop that. How does that stop? Go away. Sorry. Okay. Look up Bud Fab on YouTube. All right, hold on. Let's go look it up. I know what he's talking. The Bud Fab Streamliner is a little bike thing, I think. Or is it a little lay down thing?
Little 50cc something.
Yeah, the Bud Fab liner. Okay, I'm going to share my screen in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Well, they got in-car videos of the Bud Fab. Bud Fab Streamliner, maybe? Maybe we can also go look at this. Oh, there it is, little tiny guy. Oh.
They do 125. Look at the, yeah.
Oh, everybody, we get to watch a video or a commercial of a video. Hold on. Okay, I don't know if this transmits or not, but.
Yeah, that's cool.
So this thing is 50 cc's. So that's a damn weed eater engine or less. Yeah, and 2-stroke, obviously. Piped. And it's got the little kickstand thing that'll retract once it gets going. And it makes no power at all until it gets into its power band. Watch. Everything it can do to get it to wind up. I bet this thing starts winging.
Yeah, you know he's in there like wiggling the throttle back and forth.
He's like, come on, come on.
It accelerates.
There it goes.
There it goes.
Yep. It comes up on the cam that it don't have. Got into second. Keep it vertical, buddy. Oh, the camera. Sorry. Yeah, you can hear it when it comes up on the pipe. That's so awesome. It's like an RC plane motor. It sounds killer. That's awesome. That's third gear? Okay, so I don't want to watch commercials, but all right, you get the idea. So anyway, that was the BudFab Streamliner.
Steve's asking thoughts on dual drive-by-wire tunnel ram induction. So
I have done it. It works good with a Holly. Do it with a Holly.
Yes, Eddie Miller did that on his NA car that he ran drag week with.
But you don't have to be gay.
Yeah, and while Eddie Miller and me might have some very different ideas on a lot of political things, the guy does have a tendency to make his shit go fast.
Eddie?
Yes.
Like in the 70s.
But he had it, and it worked very well. He was able to, I think did he ever go 3? I know one time he talked about going 3 throttle bodies on top of the tunnel ram.
I don't know.
But if you look up Eddie Miller, he owns a shop called The Engine Works down in Central Florida, South Florida. Are
we really pitching Eddie Miller? Did he give you like $1,000 a day to do that?
No, he did not. He probably dressed as Elvis, like Elvis in Vegas right now. Pissed, but he is an Elvis impersonator, by the way. But
he is an Elvis. He's a hell of an Elvis impersonator, actually.
So, like I said, he might be. Me and him have very differentiating political views and governmental views. But Elvis Miller, yes, that's exactly who I'm talking about. But yes, it works just fine. Works great. It doesn't know if it's a throttle body on top or twin 4 barrels. The motor doesn't care.
Huh. Cool. So what else? What else do people want to hear? It's been an hour.
Man, if you tell me that was 2006 he did that, I'm gonna feel real. There's no way that was 14 years ago.
It was.
14 years ago.
BudFab's been out forever.
No way.
Yeah, Jerry Bonneville, you're going to love Bonneville. It was your first trip ever. Oh, dude, you have no fucking idea how hooked you're going to get when you go to Bonneville and you see shit. It's cool. You'll see a lot of home-built stuff. You're like, man, I can do better than that. And that's what gets you hooked. You know, then you get a record book or a rule book and you're like, I can build that. I could totally, and you probably can. There are some soft records there. It's hilarious. But yeah, you'll like it. Oh, thanks, John.
Questions are slowing.
They are. You better keep those questions coming. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna be like, what's his face or Alejandro, and like people just give him money to answer questions. We could do something.
Do they really?
Like that. Yeah, they do. He makes like $500 a live stream, I guess.
What are we doing wrong?
I don't know. I mean, I don't. Well, would you not? Okay, I felt stupid monetizing or trying to because I don't want to make people watch commercials. I get enough out of this advertising. A lot of you guys call me and have me tune your shit all week long. I'm plenty full on that. So I've just never been like, oh, I want to make a YouTube channel so I can make $7 a month, you know, or bullshit people about how much money you make. That's like the latest big thing. Yeah. Like, no, you don't make $900 a month from your sake putting up 8 pictures on a slideshow. But anyway, so I mean, yeah, I didn't want to mess with it. I like watching other people's content. Some of it I like having the choice of lots of content to watch and pick and choose what I watch. But I have my hair too, unlike some other tuners. I'm teasing. I was looking at a funny picture here. So go check out Matt Fleck's GoFundMe. Yeah, look at that, man. We've pushed this guy up like $1,300 or $1,400.
I like it.
Started. I do too, because that was a pretty quick rise. I'm curious to see how this graph goes over time. But he's $6,075 raised of his $25,000 goal. It was in the mid 4s when it was just over 4,000 when I opened it up an hour before the show. So let's kick that thing up if you guys can help on that. That would be really cool. Let me do another share here. Let me put it on the copy this and I'll put it on the Facebook I'm gonna just reply to. Hold on. I gotta go back into my messages here on Facebook. And okay, I'm adding a comment. What's up, Khalil? Buddy Khalil's on here. Chris Smith, he left the group. He's off reading about records. Hilarious. Okay, cool. Well, anybody else? Going once, going twice? Bueller?
I think we're good. That's an hour.
Jason, are you there? Hold on, I should get him on. I guess I can just message him on Facebook, huh? We got to check in with the producer and see if his internet is back up.
If we're allowed to go off air.
I think we're allowed to. It's been an hour. I'm checking in with him now. He hasn't looked at his YouTube stuff. I'll bug him. Talk amongst yourselves.
I had to ask Pro Stock John if he's alive. Apparently, he left to go poop a while back.
I saw that. That's kind of weird.
Make sure he's alive.
Oh, there he is. Okay, Jason's ready.
All right, well, his page are popping out.
Type. That's me tapping. I'm waiting for him to start the outro music. I'm over here creeping Shane's page. We need to get Tecklenburg on here. I tried to get Graham Bean on here, and he's being shy.
I'm pumped for next week. Next week's going to be, if that works out, we're going to get some good info. I like that. We should get Shane and Darren on here. We refer to Darren as Yoda.
Call him Yoda. Cool. All right, well, we're going to take off. Sorry, it's been an hour, but nobody wanted to ask any more questions. That's what it's going to be. We'll, next week I'm probably traveling to Bonneville. We may try to pull this off remotely because Jason will be with me. We'll be able to maybe do it from laptops, maybe a simpler way. But anyway, we'll try to make this happen next week. If not, maybe 2 weeks because we'll be at Bonneville the whole time. But either way, look for some updates from us and we'll let you know. Hey, BJ Hughes, what's up? Good to see you, buddy. No problem. Yes, Brad is in St. Louis. Why did he come visit you, Alex Lundy? Pretty cool. Anyway, all right, we'll let you go. We're out of here. Jason, you can meet us out, and we'll talk to you guys later on. Take care, buddy. Thanks again, Mike, for joining us tonight.